Is Ashton Jeanty as good as some other running backs that were top 10 picks over the past few years? Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, Todd Gurley. Does he deserve to be in that same category? Ryan Jeanty was unbelievable this year. He set so many records. He almost broke Barry Sanders' single season record for rushing. He was so important for Boise State's success this year. But can we go as far as to say that he could be in consideration for teams to take him top 10?
In this class, it's possible. I mean, we're talking about a quarterback class that maybe has two guys that might go in the top 10. It's a below average offensive line class. It's not a great wide receiver class either. If you need a skill position player in the top 10, I wouldn't be shocked if Ashton Jeanty eventually popped into being a top 10 overall draft pick, because he is, in my opinion, a true first round player in a class that doesn't have a lot of true first round players.
He has such a unique blend of not only explosiveness and elusiveness, but also vision. That was where I think Jeanty pushes himself, just confirming he's a top 20 pick at the very least. If he slid outside the top 20, I'd be really stunned because of how well he's able to find not only initial rushing lanes at the line of scrimmage, but to find those secondary lanes to turn a 10-yard rush into a 50-yard rush, to turn a 5-yard gain into a 20-yard gain. That is where we start talking about rare instincts for a running back.
Yeah, I mean, his vision is fantastic, and that goes from the first to the second level, because I think that we only think of it of just finding a hole, but it also comes to when you're into the second level at linebacker, you need to be able to understand how to manipulate the linebackers to create even extra space and to create those little small chunk plays into explosives, and he does that so well, man. His vision is top-notch. I think his explosiveness is good. His physicality and his contact balance are really good. And then the bonus, Joe, and we didn't see it as much in 2024 because the attention was all on him as a runner. He's also a really good pass receiver, man. Like, he can catch the football well. He pass blocks well. He might not be what we would call a dynamic athlete, but when we look at him, he's a guy that does everything very well. And that matters, obviously, when building a ideal running back on the next level.
This isn't a play style comparison, but more so a projection on how he should be used and what his production can be in the NFL. I think that he could rival what Christian McCaffrey has done for the 49ers and for the Carolina Panthers, just putting up bunches of yards as a receiver and a running back. He needs the right type of offensive coordinator to be creative, to deploy him and use him in unique ways to find and create space for him, but he can create space for himself as well. What would you say is a realistic projection for his NFL production?
I have a really wacky comparison. Do you want to hear my wacky comparison?
Okay.
His running style and just pure ability as a runner reminds me of Mark Ingram, but take Mark Ingram and now give a receiving upside to him of dynamic upside in space. I think there's something there, man, because he's low to the ground, breaks a lot of tackles, really good vision, good explosiveness, but not home run ability consistently on the next level. But when you put all that together and you add in the receiving upside, I think we're talking about a guy that's going to run for 1,200 yards in most seasons on the ground, but also add in 50-plus catches. Like, that's what I see with an Ashton Jeanty.
The only thing with Jeanty, if we were to identify weaknesses, the only thing, and it's fixable, is that at times he can be a bit of an east-west runner. He's one of those dudes that just, you're always looking for the big play. So you're going to run a little too wide to see if you can run somebody to an edge, and then you end up getting tackled only for a 2-yard gain. That stuff's not going to fly in the NFL, but it's something that's eventually fixable. And I think that once he realizes he can't just zip past people like he was doing in the Mountain West, that he's going to lose that negative behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, like you said, it's an easy fix. The more he sees NFL speed, the more he's going to understand what his strengths are and what his limitations are. In the Mountain West, against some of those teams, he could outrun guys to the sideline. And honestly, he even did it against Oregon a little bit, where he's still able to get the edge at times, ultimately. But I think that when you see that uptick in NFL talent, that is something that he's going to have to figure out. And then also, like, I wouldn't say he had a fumbling problem necessarily, but like, he did put the ball on the ground a couple times this past year, where I just think that when he's in a crowd and he's turning out extra effort runs, I do think that ball security needs to be something that's kind of on the forefront of his mind, as far as like, I need to protect this ball a little bit better when traffic comes, right? So ball security, and I think understanding of what your strengths are and what some deficiencies you have, I think that would unlock his ultimate potentials on the next level.
Comment below, folks. What team do you want to see Ashton Jeanty play for? Hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out. We'll talk to you later.